Okay, let's unpack this. We've got some really fascinating material today.
Mm,
We're doing a deep dive into how someone actually, tackled a pretty ambitious personal goal.
right, reading 12 books in a year. That's not a small undertaking for most people.
Exactly. And what's really interesting are the surprisingly simple strategies they use, like stuff drawn right from their own notes.
Yeah, and it's a great illustration, isn't it? How these very personal experiences, they often show us these universal truths about setting goals effectively.
Totally, like a real-world case study playing out.
Precisely. You see these tiny incremental changes adding up to something really significant.
Yeah.
It's that whole micro habit thing leading to macro success. Kind of textbook, but, real.
Yeah, absolutely. So the sources, they detail this journey. 12 books was the target.
Ambitious.
Very. And here's the kicker. They're already reading their fifth book.
Wow, okay. So they're well ahead of schedule then.
Seems like it. Which suggests it's not just about willpower, right? There's a system at play. Consistency, maybe, more than just discipline.
That's usually the key, yeah.
Yeah,
Finding a sustainable rhythm.
right. And something I found really insightful from their notes was how the books themselves sometimes helped keep the habit going.
Well, interesting. How so?
Well, they mentioned being really into The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak right now.
Ah, okay. Heavy subject matter, World War II?
Yeah, and narrated by death, which sounds, intense.
Definitely unique.
But the source said the story was just so immersive, so powerful, that reading didn't feel like a chore anymore. It was more like an essential escape.
Hmm.
That emotional depth, the unique perspective, it made it compelling. And that, helped fuel the consistency.
That's a brilliant point. It really touches on the attractiveness of the habit.
Yeah.
We focus a lot on trackers and external stuff.
Belly mechanic.
Exactly.
Right.
But if the activity itself is genuinely engaging, inherently rewarding, that pulls you in. It reduces the friction enormously.
Yeah, it turns it from a should do into a want to do.
Precisely. Which makes you wonder, maybe we underestimate how important just enjoying the process is for building habits.
Definitely something to think about. But it wasn't just finding good books.
Okay.
The source specifically mentioned another book, Atomic Habits, as being like fundamental to actually making this happen.
James Clear. Yeah, that book's everywhere for a reason. Very practical.
That's what they said. Practical and well-structured. Key when you're trying to, actually do something, not just think about it.
So what specific strategies did they pull from it?
Okay, two main things stood out. First, the habit tracker. But not just having one.
Uh-huh.
They found the simple act of, physically marking that X each night was weirdly satisfying.
That little dopamine hit, visual progress. Yeah, makes sense.
It taps into that reward system, reinforces the action. But the second thing was maybe even more crucial.
Okay.
Reading for just 10 minutes every night, right before bed.
Only 10 minutes.
Yeah, just 10. And the source said, quote, that small change made a big difference.
Interesting. Because 10 minutes feels almost too small.
Right. But I think that the point wasn't the duration. It was removing the friction. 10 minutes feels easy. You can always manage that.
No decision fatigue. Like, should I read for an hour? Half an hour? Just 10 minutes. Simple.
Exactly. And linking it to bedtime, an existing routine, it just became almost automatic.
That's classic habit stacking, tying the new habit to an established one. And the small scale, that's the minimum viable effort idea, isn't it?
Totally. It's not about finding huge chunks of time.
No, it's about the smallest possible step you can take consistently. Like they noted, even 1 page a day builds momentum.
Right. It breaks that all or nothing thinking that trips so many of us up.
Definitely. The real genius is making the habits so small you almost can't fail, and so integrated you almost can't forget. That's how you get that unbreakable consistency.
So, okay, what does this all mean for you, listening? What's the takeaway?
Well, I think it really highlights the power, maybe the counterintuitive power, of small steps.
Yeah, breaking down those big, scary goals into tiny, manageable actions, things you can actually repeat day after day.
It's less about sudden motivation bursts and more about engineering your routine, your environment, so the good habits just sort of happen.
Making it inevitable, almost.
Exactly. So maybe a final thought for everyone listening.
Yeah.
Think about one goal you have right now, something that feels maybe a bit daunting.
Okay.
What's the absolute smallest, most consistent action you could commit to? Starting tonight, maybe? Something so small, it removes that decision fatigue, gets the ball rolling.
That first tiny X on your own mental tracker.
Precisely. What could that be for you?